contextualizing this a bit, I've been working on a project here in Minneapolis. And it's next to the university. The TCF Stadium is developed. On the opposite side is 280. And there's a big, about 80-acre, 100-acre site that's very underutilized. The light rail's coming through. It's right across the street from Prospect Park. So for about 5-10 years, a number of people were saying, this is a once-in-a-generation development opportunity. We got to get this right. But there's 30 landowners who, there's nothing says they have to do anything different. They could sell it and use it for however they want. So there's been a neighborhood association that's come together that's really championing this district vision. You know, what would this look like if it's unified? And how can we make this something special? And through a series of relationships, we kind of found ourselves a startup company leading this entire thing, and basically developing a restorative vision, which is kind of the right before thrivability, because we have to sustain, restore, thrive. You know, it's the foundation for realizing this stuff. And so we've developed this model of restorative urban development where it's net positive across all areas, social, environmental, and ecological. It's not about less bad, it's about how do we be more good. And everyone's buying it. It's incredible. A couple of years ago, we were kind of teasing this stuff and we're just like, oh, but you can't make money from that. But we're showing that when you actually have incredible alignment with social, with ecological, and with economic, everything sings. Everything holds hands. And through this model, we're basically creating an incredibly powerful metabolic process that kind of emulates natural ecologies, where every output's an input for a different part of the system. There is no waste. And so, if we look at a conventional development process, we have to mine resources, costs a lot of money, has a lot of degradation. We use it for a short period of time, we cycle it through our cities, through our systems. Annie Leonard, who had this short film called Story of Stuff, she had an incredible quote. We said, 99% of the stuff that we buy and use ends up in a landfill within 6 months. So as far as like how short this ecological cycle is with the way that we're using resources, we're essentially treating the planet like it's a business in liquidation. And as far as the least sustainable thing ever, that's pretty much it. But and then on the output, you basically cycle these resources through a conventional process, and then what you kick out is pollution, garbage, and poverty. You know, there's social externalities as well. Our restorative model sees garbage as a resource. There's so much value in our garbage, and even in our wastewater. We flush the toilets. There's so many nutrients and so much energy in what we put down the toilets, and also all the organics and even paper, that we can take that and utilize it, charge people to drop it off at our site, a normal tipping fee, $45, $50 a ton, and turn it into things that communities need. Clean water, biogas, which we're going to run through fuel cell parks, so it's clean electricity. Fertilizers, nutrient-rich fertilizers, stuff that enhances soil, it builds soil, it's perfect for farming. What else do we have coming out of there? We're going to connect it to a district heating and cooling system. So we're creating thermal hot water, storing it in one of the grain elevators, because we have a bunch of them over there, and then cycle it through all the buildings that go through the district. So instead of buying the specific mechanicals for every building and treating it as isolated parts, we say, oh, there's an economy and there's better economic and better resource management through these shared systems. After it goes through the buildings, it's a lower grade heat. We run it under the streets, snow melt. Sidewalk street, there's going to be no salt, no plows anywhere in this district. And we're going to have a 10-acre solar farm, which is going to create about 3 megawatts of clean electricity. All of these renewable energies are at par or even below conventional sources, and the trends are going opposite direction. So we're basically curating all of these resources, all of these components of health-producing infrastructure, and making them work here at this big 100-acre site in Minneapolis. And when we're done with it, when we get the buy-in, it's going to leapfrog green and sustainable. It's going to be the highest performing project in the world. And so we're learning from other projects around the world. There's one in Sweden, which is kind of incremental. It's green, it's cool, it's pretty systems-based. But they have 15,000 high-level visitors come and tour this district every year. It's a source of pride for the community. They love it. It's like their own Disneyland. There's a huge amount of economy that can come from that. So we're talking about positive virtuous cycles, feedback loops that are good, where we have this level of identity and this, this sense of empowerment and renewable energy abundance. We're going to create 2 to 3 times more renewable energy through this process than is actually used in the district. So thinking about what the creative thinking, like what can we do with all this extra energy? It's not like, how can I squeeze out a little bit more from this fossil fuel-based economy? But basically we're finding, and we're going to prove, that garbage can be the heart of an incredibly profitable infrastructure. We're creating an integrated utility system where it manages energy, water, waste, IT, and food production in the same process. It's all one point of entry utility. And as far as the food process is concerned, in the anaerobic digestion, you're taking the organic waste, you're running it through some bacteria, and then it turns it into energy, this methane biogas. But it still has carbon in it, and it's a part of it's a natural carbon cycle, but because we've been drawing so much unnatural carbon from the lithosphere the past 100 years, we need to capture the carbon even that we're going to produce from this biogas process. The fuel cells will help that. But then we have this substantial food production facility in the same building. So we're talking about developing about 1 million pounds of fresh seafood every year in this facility, 4 million heads of lettuce in this facility, which can generate about $10 million of revenue. And all local-based economy, 150 jobs, in a time when California is drying up. So what does that mean for every community? We're going to have to be more resilient. We're going to have to figure things out on our own. And like Dylan said, we can be very ingenious when we know, all right, I feel something hit me. I don't like that. I want to do something differently. People want to be proactive. And so we kind of have developed this whole integrated system, and we're looking at how do we maximize and let a single intervention create a cascade, a stack function. So for everything we do, it creates 5 times the benefits, 10 times the benefits across all these other areas. And so it's basically taking the idea of understanding systems and then optimizing the entire system so that it creates well-being and value.